Okay. When it comes to classification, these five kingdoms are what you need to keep in mind. So we have the prokaryotes, or the bacteria, the protoctista, or the protozoa, and these two are the microscopic ones in particular, bacteria and protozoa. Protozoa, things like the algae, and it's also things like amoeba. Then you have the fungi, which you know could also have macroscopic ones as well. Then plants and animals, easy, plants and animals. Now, when it comes to the breakdown of these kingdoms, so we remember that keep, pots, queen, or family gets sick. So remember that just below kingdoms is phylum. So this table is for chart. If you look at the plant kingdom, right below that will be the phylum and then the class. So if we look at the plant kingdom, the one that you would need to know about is the flowering plants, and that they're divided into monocots and dicots, and how those differ from each other. And this is the first page of the study guide, so you can look at that in more detail. Then for the kingdom for animals, you need to know about two kingdoms, the arthropods and the chordates or vertebrae. So arthropods, that phyla, the classes that you need to know about, the crustaceans like the lobster, shrimp, crab. These are the ones that have two pairs of antennae. The body is divided into head, thorax, abdomen, and they usually have 5 or 7 pairs of legs. Then the arachnids, which are your spiders, your ticks, scorpions, these have no antennae. They have 4 pairs of legs, and the body is divided into 2 segments. Then the insects have 1 pair of antennae, and these are your cockroaches, moths, ants, houseflies. They have 3 pairs of legs, body is divided into these 3 parts, and most have 2 pairs of wings. And then the myriapods are your centipedes and your millipedes, and these have 1 pair of antennae and many pairs of legs. Body is elongated and divided into many segments. So if you could just recall generally the characteristics of these 4 parts of animals, you should be good to go. Then for the chordates, those vertebrates, you need to know about the Pisces, the fish, the amphibians, the reptiles, the birds, and the mammals. But really what we see a lot coming out in the papers are things from either the fish or the animalia, these crustaceans, sorry, not animalia, arthropods. These crustaceans, arachnids, insects, and myriapods. So let's look at that. So here are some past questions and things related to this. So we see here, it says there's a table obtained from a true study done by ecology students, and they have the names of the organisms and the numbers. Select from table 1 organism which belongs to each. So arthropod, and the arthropod had all of the different spiders, all these caterpillars, etc. So any of those would be good. Reptile would be the lizard, bird would be the egret, amphibian would be the tree frog. Then what you would see a lot more of is this classification according to visible traits. So over here, you're given a set of organisms and they want you to name one visible feature other than wings that can be used to classify these organisms into groups. So if you're not using wings, one other fairly visible feature here could be number of body segments. Or maybe you could have even used the number of legs as well. Right? So the name of the group, if we look at those that contain 3 body segments, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna quickly go back here. Right. Okay. So number of body segments we have. Let me write this here. Those that have 3 body segments, and we can even further go and name the group, which is insects, and then you put all the organisms that are part of that group in there according to what it says up top, and then name of group goes with 2 body segments, and those would be your arachnids. And then you put those that are present there. Let's look at another one. So, figure 1 shows some organisms in one of the soil samples. Identify 2 features. Again, 2 features that can be used to classify these organisms. So again, you can use number of body segments, number of legs, and you just determine which characteristic you're going to use and then put them in groups based on that characteristic. And this is asking you to construct the table similar to up here, right? And again, observe the organisms, state now 3 characteristics that can be used. So same thing. If I do like if I do number of legs as 1, and then presence of wings as another, and then perhaps another one could be number of body segments, right? And then based on that, if I put here the characteristic being number of legs, and if I put those with 6 legs versus over here, it's still number of legs, but I'm looking at 8 legs. Then I'm using one of the characteristics, which is number of legs, to put these organisms into 2 groups. So if I look at the 6 legs, I could put in B. This is not visible, but because we know about the wings, we're gonna put that into the group as well. D, E, G, E. H, and I. And I even want to take these out simply because they're not being seen. Those two are not being seen. So you can't assume really. So you're gonna put B for number 6, for 6 legs, D, H, G, and I. So those would go on the 6 legs. And then on the 8 legs, you will put A, or 6 or more legs. You could put A and F. And you could change this to, sorry, not 6 or more legs, 8 or more legs. So, state name an instrument that the biologists could use to collect the organisms. Well, for the smaller ones, maybe they might use a pooter, where they suck air from one end of a jar that pulls in the organisms, or maybe for the flying ones, they might use a sweep net. And that's from the sampling methods from the beginning of the syllabus. And briefly describe how you would use any of these. Then, in another study, students found specimens, and again, it's asking you identify 2 features. So again, you could do number of legs, you could do number of body segments, you could do presence of wings. So you see how the concept basically repeats itself. 3 characteristics again. And then here again, 2 visible features other than size. Here's fish, so you can use the number of top fins as one of the characteristics that you use to group them. Some have 1, some have 2, or you can actually use the shape of their fin. You can use curved in versus curved out and put them into 2 groups based on that. Okay? So that is that. Often you're asked to use the visible features to put these things into groups, and it's always helpful to also have a general understanding of these different categories that I highlighted.